Okay everyone, a former student asked me to do some review on graphing. So this is obviously Unit 1 review part 2. So what we're going to graph today, guys, is a couple exponential power functions. Notice the 3 power right there, and this one has a square power. Okay, so they're going to look a little bit different from each other, but let's start with number 3. Now, you're going to be taught some cool stuff with shifting, transformation with family of functions. But let's say this was a quiz or test, right? And it's crunch time. What are you going to do? Well, I hope you remember that you're going to look right in there and you're going to ask yourself in that expression, what makes it 0? And of course, 3 makes it 0. So I'm going to make a table. And in my table, I'm going to put 3 right in the middle. And then I'm just going to pick a couple numbers that are smaller or bigger. And a couple numbers, obviously in this case, that are bigger. You need usually between 5 to 7 points to get a good graph. And then it's just a matter of plugging it in. So if I start with 0 and plug it in there, let's see what I get here. I got 2 parentheses. 0 minus 3 cubed plus 1. And I know 0 minus 3 is negative 3. And if I cube it, negative 3 cubed is negative 27. So I have 2 times negative 27 plus 1. Now guys, before I continue with the rest of the table, remember, you can always use a calculator. As long as you type in the powers in parentheses correctly, you're going to get these points very quickly and right. But anyways, I have negative 54 plus 1, which is negative 53. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to graph that. Okay? So I'm going to now go to 1, but I'm not even going to bother with 6 down there because I know on the other end it's going to be a very large number as well. So let's start with number 1 now. So I got 2 times 1 minus 3 cubed plus 1. Now 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Cubed is negative 8. So I have 2 times negative 8 plus 1. That's a negative 8 right there, guys. And that's negative 16 plus 1 is negative 15. Again, that's pretty large. Okay? By symmetry, well, I shouldn't say symmetry. But anyways, I'll just keep going on. Let's plug in the 2 here. So I'm going to plug in the 2. And I know 2 minus 3 is negative 1. When I cube negative 1, I still get negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 is negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Now guys, pause the video because I'm going to have to do a little cleanup here. Okay, hopefully you paused the video and my work is legible enough. Let's continue on with 3. If I plug in 3, guys, I get this. And 3 minus 3 is 0, so even though it's cubed, it's still 0. And 2 times that 0 is still 0, so I'm going to end up with a 1. Okay, let's plug in the 4 and see what happens. We're going to plug in the 4, so we have 2 times 4 minus 3 cubed plus 1. Now 4 minus 1 is 1. 1 cubed is 1. Times 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. Okay, and then finally I'm going to do the 5. So I'm going to do 2 times 5 minus 3 cubed plus 1. I know 5 minus 3, 2. Cubed is 8 times 2, 16 plus 1 is 17. So as you can see, several of my numbers are too large to graph. But anyways, I'm going to graph what I can. I know I have 3, 1, which is about right there, right? Let me make that a little bit neater. 3, 1. And I know I have a 2, negative 1 right there. And I have a 4, 3, which is right there. and the 5 is 17, which is way up there. But anyways, guys, here is basically what my graph is going to look like. Okay? And any cube root, by the way, or sorry, a cube function always looks like that. It has that S shape to it. As a matter of fact, guys, if we were just to look at x cubed, if we were just to look at x cubed function, it would look like this. Follow the yellow. I'd have a 0, 0, a 1, 1. A 2 would have been 8 way up there. A negative 1, like so. In other words, guys, the one thing hopefully you've been taught is this. So pause the video if you need to, and then I'm going to finish up. So here's the one thing I want you to understand. If we understand, follow the green, that the gold or yellow function is the original x cubed function, what does minus 3 do in this function? It moves it right 3. Right 3. And what does that plus 1 do? Notice instead of the inflection point or milligraph being at 0, 0, it actually also moved up 1 space. So again, it went up 1, it went right 3 because of the minus 3 and the plus 1. Okay, guys, so hopefully this video made sense. Until next time, bye.